Thanks for tapping in with 95 South TV, hosted by IkonE and KJ, bringing you the best news and media through the efforts of the community. We interview nonprofit organizations, business owners, school teachers, spiritual leaders, and anybody who has an impact in the community that has a remarkable backstory. These professionals that we bring on this show has a story that will wow you, that will knock your socks off. And with that being said, we want you to tune in, keep it locked. We want you to like, share, follow, and subscribe. Be a dedicated listener. Come in, and if you require to do an interview, you can definitely reach out to us at 95southpodcast@gmail.com.
What's going on? What's going on? It's your boy IkonE, and we here on 95 South TV once again. First and foremost, I want to thank God for this opportunity to be having all these great people and great conversations. Next, I want to introduce my right hand man, your baby mama favorite host. You know what I'm saying? And I got to give him his props today because his Cowboys whooped the hell out of us today. You know what I'm saying? My Washington Commanders, so I'm gonna give him his props. But anyway, we're not here for that. You know what I'm saying? We're here to talk to this young lady, podcaster. You know what I'm saying? Entrepreneur. Just great all around woman. You know what I'm saying? We got today. We got Miss Golden Bronze. How you doing, ma'am?
Thank you so much, both of you, for inviting me to your podcast. I appreciate it very much. I'm blessed and highly favored. How are you all today?
We
Doing
good. We
well.
good. We good.
Doing
So
well.
I'm gonna let my partner Jacob jump in with our topic tonight. Hopefully we can if we could get the other person on tonight that's supposed to come on with us tonight. But if not, we're gonna make it work. So go ahead, Jacob. Jump on in.
Okay, so welcome in, everybody. So the topic is the true essence of a woman, and why do most women feel that most men don't get it, they don't understand, they don't try to study it, and so there's a lot of lines that's blurred when you really don't understand the essence of the value of a true woman. You know, the woman that carry herself like a lady, the woman who has, a spiritual presence about her. So why do you guys feel like most men don't understand?
So, again, one of the things that I would like to add, the essence of a woman is far more than what meets the eye. It is spiritual, emotional, intuitive, nurturing, and strong, all at the same time. And a woman carries that within her, a very deep emotional depth that is both a gift and at times it can be a burden. Our emotions are not signs of weakness at all. They are actually reflections of empathy, connection, discernment, the very qualities that make her the heart and a safe haven for people to. And a lot of times men don't understand that. They say our being emotional in many men's eyes is a sign of weakness. It's really not. It's a sign of strength and endurance.
Well, I think it's a great thing. And welcome in, Miss Tiffany. How are you?
Hey, good evening, good afternoon, everybody.
Yeah, how
Good
you
evening,
doing? How you
wherever you
doing
may
tonight?
be. Some of you, good morning, wherever you are in the world. And everybody.
so so
Hello.
this topic is pretty interesting. The essence of a true woman and why do women feel that most men don't understand. And so we were just talking about it. So I'd like to hear your thoughts and your opinion on
Just in general, you know, I think when God created the woman, he created from a place that was a shielded, protected place, right? Like the ribs protect a certain part of the body, the lungs. where the air goes. God breathed the air into the man, right? So the air goes into the lungs. Therein lies life. If you can't breathe and you don't have air, you don't have life. So he created the rib cage to protect that area of the body, but he also pulled the woman from the rib and then created the woman from the man. And I just think that, because we are, is God, then the man, then woman, right? Is God, then the man, then woman. Is that the order? Am I leaving? Yeah,
Mhm.
church comes after them.
You're right.
Family and church. Um,
Yes.
so so what I'm trying to say is the woman already when she was created came from a place of covering and protection, right? And I believe that we are naturally um, wired to to encompass emotions, to be sensitive in spirit, and to be cognizant and thinking of all things, all areas, right? Because not only are we helpers, we are nurturers, we're caregivers, we bear children, we're mothers, we help to incubate and create life and then cultivate and develop that life. And we are there at every moment of the growth and development phase. And so, depending on how you were brought up, your upbringing, for those women who were watered as children by their fathers or by a male authority or male figure in their life, um, if that part of you was fulfilled, then there's a certain way that you were handled, right? You were cared for. And as we get older and we matriculate, into teenage years and young adulthood and, adulthood, and as we carry throughout life, we encounter, people, in particular, men, a mate, and our emotions. I think women are more emotional and we fall in love faster, and we let our guards down faster. I think we open our hearts faster. What comes out of your mouth is what's in your heart. So a lot of times women are sharing uh, every intricate piece of themselves through their words, and sharing this with this man, and he may know everything about her, and she knows nothing really about him. And I think that we have to be mindful of that, not to stay guarded, but there is a level of protection, and we can't just expect for someone else to cover us and protect us. We have to ensure that we are on the front line and covering and protecting ourselves as well. And I just think that yeah, women are emotional, and we connect emotionally sometimes before we do, spiritually, even, or physically, or in some other form or facet. Um, and we have to be mindful of that. And also, men, as we are mindful of the things of the man should be mindful of the essence of the woman. Because, just as well as he was fearfully and wonderfully made, so are we. And, I see a lot of women that go through a lot of things and experience a lot of collateral damage because, of all the stuff that guys have been through, and then they, come in as a wrecking ball sometimes, and vice versa. I'm not just putting this off on, men doing it to the women, but there are some women who, don't have great intentions for a man as well, or, whoever their partner is. And so I think that there should be a mutual line of respect and consideration. We're all sharing the human experience, and we're all here for an assignment and for a purpose. And you know, I don't want to keep on talking, but we were all
Go.
created for something. And why are we taking fragments and pieces of each other and ditching, the rest, and then carrying crumbs, as we go along, and leaving these trails, and people are just picking up the pieces, and we're not whole. And so and wholeness is a goal. It should be if you're in Christ, and um, you know, um, and there's a place where you're trying to get to. You can't get there broken. You can't get there um, in pieces. You need the fullness of you, the whole you, to be healed and to be good, so that you can go forth and walk into that purpose, and be the best version of yourself that you can be. So I know I said a whole lot of stuff, you know.
Listen, man.
Um,
Listen. I can't listen, man. We the only two brothers on here. If you looking for a fully loaded answer, Miss Tiffany, you went to the Pentecostal church, the Methodist church, the Baptist church, and you did some street ministry. My God, it is Sunday evening. I can't
listen,
go
I
ahead.
brought the hip hop worship gathering with me today.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
Well,
that's what we
well,
do.
well. I'm gonna say this about the from the men's side of things, and when they basically we talk about how the men when men don't basically understand the emotions of a woman. And a pastor said this to me one time, or said us in a group. We was in a group setting, and the pastor said this. He said it's not the responsibility of a man when he goes like if let's say you had um issues, you had daddy issues, like your daddy wasn't there when you was a kid, you had a bad relationship, you were molested by your uncle or something, then you get into a relationship as an adult and you had bad relationships with men over and over. You get with that one man, he's a good man, he wants to be there for you, but you put all that burden, you put all that trauma, you put all that whatever it is on that new man. Now that new man doesn't know how to make you happy. So I was watching the show the other day, unfortunately, because I really didn't like it, but I was with my wife and she was watching the Divorce Sisters. And so I don't know if y'all watched that show yet, but her husband didn't open it. I guess they were married for a while. He didn't open up the door or something like that for her. And so she got mad and basically like was they shut down. So his one of her friends had to tell him, she said the reason why she did that is because when she was in college, she got she got sexually assaulted in college, and it was based on they shut her in a room and wouldn't open the door for her or whatever. They like locked her in a room, wouldn't open the door. So it was a trigger. And my pastor said sometimes you have a man or whatever, and he may say something that trigger. It could be something simple, you know what I'm saying, and it triggers you from something that happened to you in the past. He has no idea why you triggered. That's because you went into this new relationship and you never got healed. You never got that healing you needed at the end of the day, and you go into this new relationship carrying all that baggage, all that trauma, and you expect the man just to automatically understand what you're dealing with. And sometimes we have our own baggage, our own trauma that we trying to navigate through. So adding yours on top of what we trying to deal with, we confused because we have no idea why we getting, especially if we feel like we're doing everything we're supposed to do in that relationship to try to make you happy, and nothing we do is we can't get it right. You know what I'm saying? No matter what we do.
Well, how about this? How about
So I see.
this?
Oh,
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go to Bronx. Go ahead.
okay, I see that as two different issues. So I see what you're talking about, Icon, is trauma dumping. Maybe she feels like she can't handle this relationship. He triggered something. You use the word triggered, which um, brings back an experience that she might have had with someone else. But women are have emotional layers to them. They are spiritual, mixed with joy, responsibility. They have had to carry, especially Black women, a lot of responsibility. Love laced with concern, peace intertwined with purpose. And a man has to be on the same emotional intelligence level of a woman in order to really sustain or have a sustainable relationship. A lot of times, what you're talking, you're making it sound like it's the woman's issue because she's triggered by something that someone in the past did to her. When oftentimes men carry that same level of trauma. They've been triggered by something that some woman did to them before. And both parties have to heal before you get into another relationship. If you never heal from whatever your trauma is, whatever your gender is, you're going to carry that over into the next relationship and the next relationship. And to me, that's two different things. But because women are layered emotionally, it takes a man with a lot of emotional intelligence to be able to understand the depth of that woman or their woman. And every woman is different.
Well,
Okay, so
well,
let
when
me,
I said that, let me follow up with her what she was just saying. I
okay.
understand what you're saying, but my thing was when we was talking about the emotions of a woman, and you're right. Men. That's why I said at the end, men have emotional baggage and they have trauma too. But what I was just saying from a man's perspective, trying to discuss a lot of times we get into relationships with a woman and she has things that she's never gotten past, and then she puts it on that new man, or like it could be something simple as I left my socks in the middle of the floor, and now you like, oh, my last man left his socks in the middle of the floor. Now you triggered based off of something in that past relationship that's small, and we like, what, you mad at me over some socks? And then it turns into a whole nother argument over something else. So that's what I'm saying about being triggered. It could go both ways, but I was just saying a man's version, a man's thought process when it
Mhm.
comes to dealing with his female, his woman. So that's what I was saying. That's all I was saying.
Okay, so I just
Okay.
want to be clear about this. People go through different things in different spectrums of their life. So I have always asked a person, what is your do's and don'ts? What is your likes and dislikes? What triggers you in the beginning? So therefore, if I feel like I can't deal with it mentally or emotionally before we take it to that course, I let that person know that we should just remain friends. And so I think people don't do that in the beginning. You know, when they're in this part of the relationship and they don't even know what triggered her. They don't even know what she like or what she don't like. And so when it blows up, it's like I didn't know that. So why didn't you ask? Or why didn't she ask? And so I think that open communication, and I think in a lot of relationships, it is so much inadequate communication to you don't really know that person. You don't know the do's and the don'ts and none of that. So if you don't know that person and they don't know you, then I feel like it's both of you guys' fault because those are questions that should have been answered in the beginning of the relationship. That's just how I feel.
And I kind of agree with that because many men observe a woman's emotions, but they don't always comprehend the depth behind it. And so that takes conversation, what you're talking about. But you also have to have not only emotional intelligence, but some emotional reciprocity. You have to have that in order to get beyond what is it that is making her trigger behind the socks being left in the floor, as an example, or whatever. So by you just asking her questions, King Jacob, that might not be enough to stop right there because you didn't like the answer. Try to get into the reason, try to get into the depth of why she feels the way that she feels, and then discern whether or not that's somebody you just want to be friends with. Because I think a lot of times we pass on people because we really don't take the time to dig deep in to see what's inside.
And then
But
I think too,
sometimes,
we also have to be mindful that whatever you sow into a woman is going to grow, is going to multiply, and it's whether through action or inaction. So you can sow a seed by acting upon something, and the woman will multiply that, or
Mhm.
you can, not do something, and that could be a seed seen as being a seed sown, and then the woman will multiply based off of that energy as well. right? So, which will probably come in the form of a complaint or nagging, or you don't do this, or you don't do that, or why don't you do this, or why don't you do that? My dad used to do this, my ex used to do that, and so you're going to multiply whatever it is that you put out there. So, I think too, men, have to be mindful and really take the ultimate accountability because God created the man first and then gave the woman to the man. And so it's just like when Adam and Eve were, in the garden, and she came to Adam, and then they ate the fruit and all of that stuff or whatever. And it came to a point of, where when God came back looking, he's like, hey, where's Adam? You know what I mean? Where is he?
Mhm.
And I think, let me think a little bit because I'm moving a little fast, but let me back it up a little bit. I think that Adam didn't want to take the accountability at the moment, right? Even when he wasn't around for a while. He was missing in action because how did this serpent tempt this woman? Why was she by herself? You know what I mean? And then he said, the woman did it. You know what I mean? And so
Mhm.
anyway, they end up both getting the punishment, but he led her to go and try to hide. They went together to go and hide themselves because they realized that they were naked because they had sinned, right? Before then, they didn't know that they were. And so I say all that to say, whatever seed you sow will grow, and so good, bad, or indifferent, and ultimately the man, is accountable for much of what happens in the relationship, and it may not be something that you agree with. You may think that, well, she messed up and she did this. Well, guess what? So did Eve. She messed up and she did something, and then both of them had to, bear the punishment and the consequences of those actions, because they were bound together by it. Same thing in a relationship or a marriage. Um, Stuff doesn't just strike up overnight all of the time. Some things first happen in spirit before they physically happen or emotionally happen, right? Where did that come from? It came from somewhere. And then once a woman communicates to the man what it is, what her emotions are, hopefully he's equally yoked and is able to accommodate her in the spirit, because then he can, like Miss, what's your name? I'm sorry.
Oh,
Golden bronze.
me?
The lady,
Oh,
Miss
hold on.
up here on top of Jacob.
Miss
Golden
Golden
bronze.
Bronze.
G. Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry. I'm gonna get it in a minute. It's very small on the screen. I'm over 40 now. I need some reading glasses. Um,
That's
I
right.
now forgot my train of thought. But ultimately, I think the man, has to take accountability for, his place in this relationship, because you up here, you know.
Well, it's something you said. I want to say something. Well, something that you said that I really thought
Hmm.
about. A lot of times in relationships, that when okay, especially in marriage, when you make decisions, whether it's based on the kids, the finances, whatever it is, career opportunities, you sit down with your spouse. Y'all come up with a solution or whatever y'all agree on, whatever the situation is. When it go left, what cannot happen is somebody pointing fingers. Because if we made this collectively, if it turns out great, yeah, yeah, hoorah, let's go celebrate. If it turns out bad, then we have to figure out how to go back to the drawing board to make to try to fix it. And of course, we go to God and all that to pray on it and the whole thing. But if it don't go right like we want it to go, then we stick together. But a lot of times in relationships, what happens is you make a decision when it go left. Well, you wanted to whatever, and then it's like, but you said you was cool with it. Well, I was just saying it just to kind of because I was trying to be supportive. But
Yeah.
if you didn't agree with it, you should have just said that. Because now if it go left, now you pointing fingers, and then that could cause a relationship to go really bad and break up and the whole thing because you basically you made a decision based off of more of maybe emotion than more of using logic and really give me a real reason why you want to, like, if you don't agree, then give me a reason why. Because a lot of time with men, if you give us a real reason why, we might say you right, I ain't gonna do that. You know what I'm saying? Same thing with a woman. If you say, yeah, she be like, yeah, you're right. I didn't think about that. Because sometimes we, especially men, sometimes we want something so bad, and then we don't even think about everything that could go wrong. We just think about everything that's gonna
Good
go right.
woman will.
You know what I'm saying? So I think that plays into the whole thing when, at the end of the day, a man has to be held, hold himself accountable when he does mess up. And the thing about it is you always have to be that leader to say, okay, it's on me because I'm the man in the situation. So I'm gonna take responsibility for my house and whatever goes left. And we real men will be the type where they want to go out and fix it right then and there. But then the thing about it is sometimes we want to fix it so bad we go out and do something stupid. Next thing we end up in jail or something because we trying to double up some money and do whatever, try to fix the situation, but we don't think with logic. So we need that support system to say, yeah, baby, I know you want to do this, but no, stop for a second and think. So,
Yeah, I think a lot of times men would think irrationally, and it's like you said, it's not fully thought through, and the bad situation to a worse situation, and then you got to face that woman in the face, and it's like she don't want to hear that. You know what I mean? Because you should have talked about it and really compromised and came to one side of the agreement. So I think that like you and Miss Tiffany said, Icon, that accountability for a man is very important. You know what I mean, in a relationship, and a lot of men don't want to take accountability nowadays. Nowadays, it's really really rough. Versus what I seen my father and my grandfather do, and some of my uncles and some of the OGs of the neighborhood. I feel like a lot of the younger men make mistakes because they don't have the correct teachings, and without those correct teachings, then they just doing whatever trying to figure it out. But just trying to figure something out and not knowing could cause somebody else a world of pain and get you in a world of trouble.
hmm
So I kind of, are you
so
saying because of the lack of communication within that interpersonal relationship, that the man may not understand the woman's emotional response to a bad decision made? Is that what you're getting at?
well, no, what I'm saying is sometimes a woman wants to be so supportive of what a man wants to do in a situation that sometimes she'll just agree to maybe to keep from an argument or agree because she thinking that I'm a stay. When I say stay in my place, I'm saying from a biblical standpoint of a man is the head, the woman is, you know, the follow, and she wants to stay kind of in that place. When I say stay in her place, as far as following the man, not man, not in no submissive type of way, but just in a way of he's the leader, he's the head. Let me support his decision. But then in her back of her mind, she may say, I don't know, because this could go happen and that could happen, and but she may not speak on it. And then
Right.
when it
Yeah.
goes left, then she wants to say, I knew it wasn't gonna work because I was thinking blah blah blah, but you didn't say that. You just went with it, but then if it wins, I knew it was gonna work the whole time. When you know the good and doggone well that's not what you was thinking when I first told you about this idea. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever decision I wanted to make.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. Sometimes you have to it has to always be that keep it
That
real
sounds like a
100%.
relationship to me.
Huh? Go ahead.
Yeah, I think that I said that sound the scenario sounds that scenario sounds like a person that is feels like they have to be totally submissive without having an opinion in order to not upset their particular
Hmm.
spouse. So they're
Hmm.
not comfortable saying how they really feel. Something has happened in the past to make that person not comfortable with being transparent to her husband how she really feels. So that's a lack of communication there. And something's transpired in the past to make her
Hmm.
just hold back, you know.
And
But
that's why I
society
asked
often
why.
teaches men to view our emotions as something.
Yeah. But then to go back to what I was saying
Society
before, go to bronze.
often teaches men to
It could,
view women's emotions as something that they need to fix.
but yeah, then that goes back to what I was
Go
saying,
ahead.
go to
It's
bronze about
a lag.
that whole oh yeah, but that whole thing what I was saying before about when women have past relationships that carry over, it may not even be something that happened in that relationship. What you're saying could have happened prior relationship, and she has that same mindset of next time I go into this relationship, I'm not even going to be
Say
I'm
nothing.
not going to come off combative, or I'm just going to I'm going to be more submissive because my last relationship, I was more combative, or if I said something and got smacked in the mouth or got cursed out. So I know this time I'm not going to do it. So that's what you said at the beginning. You have
Okay,
to
you said a
understand.
key. You said
Go ahead.
you said a you said a key thing. Combative. When you express how you feel, that's not being combative. That's expressing
Okay.
how you feel. And you could be right. Maybe somebody did uh, hit her in the mouth or whatever you said, became abusive, which, I advocate against all of that, became
Hmm.
abusive because she spoke her feelings. So now she is reluctant to do so. But those are things that before you really cohabitate,
Get
you
married,
need
you
to
should be
figure all
working on
that out
those.
first.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna use a
Right?
better
Yeah,
word,
I
combative.
agree.
I'm gonna use combative. I use have an opinion. You know what I'm saying? Like she has an opinion or a thought. So I'm gonna take the word combative away and say opinion or a thought. She may next time I'm not gonna express my opinion.
But
So
in
you're
this
right. You're
in
right.
this
But you
relationship,
know
this,
what?
if y'all have made it to marriage in this relationship, even if she had that going on in the past, she should now,
Hmm.
if she's marrying you or is married to you, she should now feel safe and trust, the she should feel comfortable enough to be able to speak up. So perhaps she has some personal work to still do, but still there's something that didn't connect with the spouses on the front end, because why does she not feel comfortable enough to
Mhm.
express her opinion and voice her opinion with me, even if somebody did pop her in the mouth in the past?
Gotcha.
When she's
Gotcha.
with me now, and so
Hmm.
she should feel comfortable, safe, and like her voice and her opinion matters in this marriage.
Yeah.
Yep. And to understand your woman, you must go beyond her words and into her
Hmm.
heart space. I said that earlier. True
Yeah.
understanding begins when you value her emotional intelligence. And I said that before. When you value her strength and not her sensitivity. You have to
Hmm.
figure
Okay.
all that out before you start cohabitating with people so that you have those interpersonal relationships that opinion anyway. So
Okay. Okay.
This is a really
But
great
there,
discussion.
but but there is a such thing as a healing process, and with that healing process,
yes.
that starts with your personal relationship with Jesus Christ. And so people try to heal all
Yes.
by themselves, and you're not going to be able to do
Mhm.
that. You'll be searching and searching and searching. You definitely got to go down on your knees and ask God to really direct and guide your footsteps. And then, being with somebody time and time again that
Yes.
really doesn't have any spiritual awakening, or you can't really connect with them on a spiritual level. So I often see people, that's married, and I asked my homeboy one day, I said, how much do you spiritually love your wife? And he looked at me like I was speaking French. And so
Mhm.
and that really bothered me, because
Vital
they had
food
been,
from it.
Yeah, because
that bothered me, man.
he's supposed to
That
love
bothered me. That
he's
Hmm.
bothered
supposed to
me,
love
Miss.
his wife like like he loves the
Right. Of the
church.
church.
Uh,
Yeah.
If he's
And
spiritual, the Bible
yeah.
says love your wife
Hmm.
like you love the church. Yes.
Listen, man.
Well, well, well.
Listen,
We
y'all.
take on the image of God, which is the spirit of God, which is his word. And a lot of times people aren't even versed in the word enough to even love the wife like Christ loves the church, and for the wife to love the husband like,
That's
in the way
right.
Christ would love, because we aren't connected to the word, you know.
That's
Well,
absolutely correct.
That
I
is so
think
true.
this
Well, I want
generation
to say that
this.
with men,
Hold on. Go ahead.
are you speaking to me, Icon?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. I know you got a little delay over there, but go ahead.
Okay, when men, I just wanted to say that I think that when men take the time to understand not just what a woman says, but what she feels, when there's harmony created, understanding her is not about controlling or did you hear me? Because I think there was an issue with the
Bits and
connectivity.
yeah,
It's,
yeah,
yeah,
bits and pieces.
negativity.
Bits and yeah.
Well. See, and this is another thing too. So,
Okay, I was saying that
um,
when men
okay. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
go ahead. I was
Oh
just
no.
going to
What
repeat it
else?
since you said you heard bits and, but I was saying we're talking about men understanding the essence of a woman's emotion.
Oh, okay. Well, see, and this is another thing, and then, we don't got to touch on it too much, but we was on a live. Me and Jacob was on a live last night, and we got asked a question that kind of was the answers was disturbing to me. And the question was, if you was in a relationship with somebody for a year, and after a year y'all had, intercourse, just put it, PG, and the intercourse wasn't good, would you break up with the person? And everybody was like, oh, yeah, I get rid of them, this, that, and the third. And I'm like, hold on, so you invested a whole year in a relationship, getting to know each other. You finally decided to do the do, and then you decide based off of that one time that it's over with. So I said the relationship was never real if your relationship is based on that first time, and you decide from there, I can't be with this person no more because of that one thing. That kind of that disturbed me from the answers I was getting. You know what I'm saying? So just kind of, if you're uncomfortable speaking on it, that's fine. But if you don't, just kind of let me know what your thoughts would be on something, just maybe from the relationship part of it.
I personally think that that is, I would feel like you felt. I think that within a whole year, you should have developed um, a foundation for a relationship, and you teach people, your partner,
Hmm.
what you like, what you don't like. You learn together. You learn to groove together. You let people know what pleases you and what displeases you, and you compromise on that. If there was more to that relationship than sex, and it had to be for it to be a year long before you got to that point. So yeah, you have to talk about it. Talk about your likes, your dislikes, and teach your mate how to please you.
Miss Tiffany?
Yeah, I mean, everybody want to test drive the car before they buy it, right? Um, you gotta take a spin in this Corvette to make sure we got the right type of motor. Like, I gotta make sure it does what they say it does. Um, and I think that's a part of the problem. Um, saying we're gonna wait a year before we are physically intimate or have intercourse or what have you, and then when it happens and it's not magic, and it's not magical, and then all of a sudden the relationship is over. Um, I don't think. Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with you and say that it's superficial. It's not really a real relationship, because we all know, if you are married or you ever have been married, that not every night is a magical
Yeah.
night. You know what I mean? Sometimes some things happen,
Bells and
and
whistles.
that doesn't
Hey,
mean you get a
hey,
divorce because you had
hey,
a bad night.
Miss Tiffany, I want to say this.
Um,
Miss Tiffany, I want to say this. I know both of you ladies probably seen this movie. Wait to Exhale. Remember the scene when the guy came in there with humping like a rabbit? Then she
Yeah.
had to say, hold on now, we're gonna try this again, but we're gonna slow down. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
then it ended up being
Sometimes
a
people can be too
Yeah.
excited, and especially that first time. That first
mm-hmm.
time could either be you can hit it off well, or you could be so excited that you fumbling around and you can't, you got to find your groove. And so, that doesn't mean that this is it and this is how it will go each and every time. Sometimes you have to give some person a chance to learn your body, and learn how they move. And I ain't trying to give no training or nothing like that, but I'm just saying.
Oh yeah, she said trying to get no training, but you
You
know
you
what?
not when you first rode your bike without training wheels and you fell off, you didn't put the bike down and say, I'm not gonna ride this bike again.
That's
Yep,
true.
You got
yep.
back on the bike and you tried it again until you got better at it. And so I think that, it's the microwave generation and people want satisfaction then. And, if it doesn't go the way, now here is where this creeping in from maybe perhaps his past relationship stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe
Mm-hmm.
your last was, a blast. And now this first time with this new person and it's just like a flop, and your memory goes back to what oh boy or oh girl used to be able to do. You know what I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
how you felt then. And so you still want that in this next relationship. If that was fulfilling and pleasing to you, if you were satisfied, you still want that level of pleasure. However, if it doesn't happen the first time, you think in your mind now, oh no, this ain't gonna work.
And
So
then
so
Sometimes you may be right.
because we about to get out of here, but I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna let you say space, but I'm gonna say this before Jacob speak again, and we gotta get out of here. But another thing too is when that happens, now you base off the relationship you had before. Oh, he was so great in the bedroom, even though he treated me like dog doo doo. I'd rather deal with the dog doo doo and have the great bedroom boom, but I ain't getting nothing else from it. So now your emotions all screwed up
This
because you basing
flesh.
your whole relationship on the wrong thing.
It's flesh, which is why people shouldn't get married, shouldn't have sex before marriage.
Right.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
because
hey
then you
man,
win, and then you're gonna have to
listen,
deal with it. Y'all gonna have to figure it out. But
Yeah.
that's
you
where
know
we
what?
we go ahead and get ourselves into things, and and it becomes more physical than anything. And if that's not pleased, then I'm not pleased, and I'm not happy, and it's time to break up.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so
Well, I,
Icon,
mm-hmm.
if a person is not there with you during that current boom boom room time mentally, then it really may not be that particular time. Maybe you guys should have waited a little bit longer if they're not there with you mentally. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yeah.
the mental capacity when you're in that moment is really, really something serious. You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
if you're not mentally there, then it ain't gonna work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate y'all coming on tonight and giving us y'all time. We definitely got to do this. Excuse me, do this again very soon. Yeah, definitely gotta do a part two of this because one thing about me and Jacob, we always try to involve our women, our queens, as far as understanding them, and we want to be a part of the solution, not the problem. We don't want to be the Kevin Samuels type where we just look at the problem. We want to look at some of the solutions of how to men and women getting on the same page. So I definitely appreciate y'all coming on. If y'all got any plugs y'all want to plug out as far as the things y'all doing, speak now, forever hold your peace.
I would like to say that Golden Swan Cadre is having a webinar in January called Are We Leaving Our Boys Behind? And I would like for you and King Jacob to attend. It's free because he mentioned, King Jacob did, about us not training our boys or boys not being trained younger in life. One of you guys mentioned that through this podcast. So, and you too, ma'am. It's free. You can sign up on Eventbrite, Golden Swan Cadre. It is January 15th, MLK weekend. That's Saturday. And I want to also thank you for inviting me. I have a lot of ideas. If we want to do this again, we can do it on your podcast or
Okay.
mine. whichever one.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
No problem. No problem. We
And I
love to
just
come on
want to
your
say,
Thank you again.
podcast.
I just want to say to these two sisters,
What
I
was
thank y'all
that?
for
I'm
accepting
sorry.
the invitation, and I I thank you guys for accepting the invitation, and I've had conversations with both of you, and so I said, you know what, let me let me invite these two queens on, man, because they gonna give me the real, raw, and uncut, and so I definitely appreciate that.
You're so
Thanks for
welcome. Miss
inviting me on.
Tiffany,
Thanks for
I
having
might be
me.
reaching out to you.
Most times when I'm, invited to a podcast or interview, we have a certain theme that is mostly tied around music or something that I do. And so I appreciate this opportunity to just express and talk about just the topic at hand and just go into that. It was actually a breath of fresh air for me.
All right. I appreciate it. Well, we appreciate you. And we're
Thank
glad you
you.
enjoyed yourself. And we definitely going to do it again. God bless y'all and have a wonderful week.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.
Same to you. Thank
Brown
you. Good
skin
night.
girl, and she knew I was out to go and clear my mind.